Hello story lovers, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying to the vast, green heart of Finland, a land of 1,000 lakes and endless forests. Our story is called The Whispering Forest. In a small wooden house, nestled right at the edge of a great, ancient forest, lived a young girl named Anja. Anja wasn't like the other children in her village. While they played games in the open fields, Anja was drawn to the deep, silent woods. She had a secret. She could hear the trees. It wasn't with her ears exactly, but with her heart. When the wind rustled through the silvery birch leaves, it sounded like a soft sigh. When it swept through the tall, sturdy pines, it was a deep, rumbling hum. To Anja, these weren't just sounds, they were stories. The trees whispered tales of frosty winters, of bears slumbering in their dens, and of the shimmering dance of the northern lights across the sky. They told her of ancient times, of generations of people who had walked beneath their branches, respecting their silent wisdom. Anja would spend hours leaning against a thick, mossy trunk, closing her eyes and just listening. The forest was her library, and every tree was a living book filled with history and magic. She felt a profound connection to this place, a sense of belonging she couldn't find anywhere else. One crisp autumn morning, a new sound shattered the forest's peaceful chorus. It was a harsh, metallic growl, followed by a loud crack that echoed through the trees. Anja's heart leaped into her throat. She ran towards the noise, her small boots crunching on fallen leaves. Peeking from behind a giant boulder, she saw something that made her gasp. Men in bright jackets were there with huge, roaring machines. They were lumberjacks. One man, who seemed to be the leader, pointed at a majestic centuries-old pine, one of Anja's favorite storytellers. The machine roared to life, its sharp teeth ready to bite into the ancient wood. Tears welled up in Anja's eyes. They couldn't hear. They didn't understand. To them, these were just trees, just wood to be sold. To Anja, they were living beings, the keepers of memory, the very soul of the land. She had to do something, anything, to stop them from silencing the forest's voice forever. Gathering all her courage, Anja stepped out from her hiding spot. "Stop!" she cried, her voice small but clear against the engine's drone. The lumberjacks paused, surprised to see a little girl alone in the deep woods. The leader, a big man with a weary face, walked over to her. "What are you doing out here, little one? This is no place for games." Anja looked up at him, her eyes pleading. "You can't cut them down," she said. "They're trying to tell you something. You just have to listen." The man chuckled, a tired, humorless sound. "Trees don't talk. Kid, now run along home before you get hurt. Bet." Anja stood her ground. "Please," she whispered, her voice filled with genuine urgency. "Just for a moment. Close your eyes and just listen with your heart. I promise, you'll hear them." Something in her earnest plea, in the pure conviction in her eyes, made the leader pause. Maybe it was curiosity, or maybe the quiet of the forest was finally seeping into him. With a heavy sigh, he motioned for his crew to silence the machines. A sudden, profound stillness fell over the woods. "All right," he grumbled, more to himself than to her. 1 minute. He closed his eyes, but first, there was nothing but the gentle breeze. But then, as he stood there, a faint, familiar melody seemed to weave through the rustling leaves. It was a tune from long ago, a lullaby his own mother used to sing to him as a boy. In a little cottage not so different from Anja's, right on the edge of this very forest. His breath caught in his throat. Memories flooded back of climbing these same trees, of feeling safe beneath their branches. Of a time when he, too, felt the magic of the woods. His eyes snapped open, and he stared at the ancient pine, not as a source of lumber, but as a silent witness to his own life. He looked down at Anja, who was watching him with wide, knowing eyes. A slow smile spread across his face, a real one this time. He knelt down to her level. "You're right," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I hear it." He stood up and turned to his crew. "Pack-a-tut." "Boys," he announced, his voice ringing with new authority. "We're done here. This forest has more important work to do." The lumberjacks, confused but obedient, began to pack their equipment. Anja watched as the trucks drove away. The silence they left behind filled not with emptiness, but with the gentle, grateful whispering of the trees. The forest was safe from that day on. It became a protected place, and the story of the girl who taught a lumberjack to listen to the trees became a new legend, whispered on the wind for all who had the heart to hear. The forest lived on, its stories saved for generations to come. And the moral of our story is that every voice in nature, no matter how small or quiet, deserves to be heard. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this story, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more adventures. We'll see you next time.